That's the sound of 7.4 liters of engine, making pandas all around the world cry. And that's a good thing because this truck runs on panda tears. That's why I bought it. So this is my 1995 Chevrolet K2500, 7.4 liter big block. It's got a 5-speed manual transmission, 410 rear gears. It's meant to tow. Extended cab, long bed, 4-wheel drive. Does not have a gooseneck yet. I will put one in if I ever get a gooseneck trailer, obviously, and hopefully I'll be doing that in the future. But for the meantime, got a big beefy trailer hitch on there. Aftermarket trailer brake, 7-way. The tailgate's a little messed up. It's a 2-hander instead of a 1, but that's kind of expected for a Chevy. Inside, it's a Silverado package. Very nice. It doesn't have power seats, which I'm okay with. But that being said, I've already done one modification to this truck. Some fencing wire. So normally, you just flip this lever, and you can push it forward like that. But it doesn't work anymore. It's supposed to open like this. Multiple step process. You got to come to the front and pull that little lever I showed with the baling wire and pull it forward. So this lever, then this lever, and you crawl behind here and you're in the back seat. If you're shorter than 5 feet, getting out is the hard part. Take 2. It is missing the center console. I don't know, I think it was just a console in here before, but I'd like to put the split like bench seat with the fold up and down seat so you can store stuff in here or haul people. Not that anybody's going to be comfortable in this truck, especially back there. The seat is actually stuck. Some of the brackets were broken on the seat or something, so basically I need a whole new seat, but I need that anyways because you can only get a one-piece thing if you want this middle bench seat, so that'll be all one part. But this does fold up, so you can fit a lot of stuff back there. Pull a little lever below the seat cushion. You pull that forward, and then you flip the seat up. You gotta hold this lever like that the whole time you're doing it. But then you got all this space. You can throw some toolboxes back there or something and save yourself having to have a toolbox back here. But overall, I think I probably would have had a better time with the regular cab. You know, it's an extra 1,000 pounds or something probably you're hauling around, so less weight, dead weight you're carrying around with a reg cab. But there's advantages to this too. If I ever get friends, I'll have a truck to haul them in, and then they'll ride in the back seat, and I won't have any friends anymore. But anyways, it has a G80 locker with 410 rear end, so it does really well towing, but not so well in the mud. Definitely be using, I use 4-wheel drive quite a bit on this thing. That's okay. Speaking of 4-wheel drive, obviously I've got a manual transmission. I've got manual 4-wheel drive. They did offer push-button 4-wheel drives on the late model 2500s from this era, but I don't like that stuff. I didn't see much of it, but I wouldn't have bought it anyways. I had a couple of other trucks that weren't K2500s come up. I had a 5.9 Cummins I pretty seriously considered for a bit there, but it was a little out of my price range, and it was kind of in rusty condition. So per usual, the 5.9 Cummins was overpriced, but I do like those. And I looked at one with a manual, but I didn't quite get it. Then I looked at an LB7 Duramax, but that was an automatic. I wanted a manual because I've never driven a manual before this truck. I learned how to drive a manual on this truck. I'm not a master of it, but I can drive a manual well now compared to what it was before. And if you are getting a first vehicle, I know a lot of parents don't like the safety aspect of like driving a manual versus an automatic, but I highly recommend anyone who's driving in their teens, get a manual car if you can. After you log a bunch of hours on it with your parents and stuff, you can drive a manual. Even though I don't think that's going to be a super useful skill in the future, it's still cool to say you can do it. And if you can't drive a manual, you're not a real man. So overall, this truck is pretty clean. It's got a little bit of rust right there. The frame is in really good condition. I think it was painted at some point, but it still looks really good. The back side of this frame looks good, but you can see, I mean, it's like black. So I'm assuming someone must have coated it or something at some point. But it comes from Colorado and Texas, so there shouldn't have been a whole lot of salt there compared to someplace like you know, a New York truck or Minnesota or something. They shipped it out to the East Coast. That's when I got it. It was about 3 hours away from me. Just a quick little side note. Every time I get a video with a vehicle up on my YouTube channel, I get comments on, why are you covering your license plate? You scared? But I just get tired of all these women following me home, you know, proposing to me and stuff. I just can't handle it anymore. You know, I gotta do something to hide it. Door handle is falling out this side. Mom actually got stuck in the truck a couple of months back. Something I need to take care of. You really got to finesse this. I figured it out, but I've had a lot of people panic when they get in the truck, and I'm like, hey, you know, you drive. And someone would, like, if we were picking up hay or something, and they'd like panic. They're like, how do I, you know, you locked it on me or something. So we got to fix that there. I'm not putting big rims or wheels on it. I mean, that stuff is stupid. Yeah, I'm not a fan. 132,000 miles. I would say we can get at least 300,000 miles out of this. I think this truck's been taken pretty good care of. It's got like detailed service records and stuff. I don't know, I may sell it before that, but I don't want to. I mean, if I sold it, it'd be for practical reasons, you know. I love this truck. Take a look under the hood here. Like I said, 454. I've done one oil change on it. It drinks oil pretty good. It definitely drinks gas. I think probably the best you can get in a truck like this, fuel mileage wise, is maybe 14, maybe if you're really lucky. I don't think I've ever gotten anything better than like 12 on the highway. I mean, it drinks fuel, but that's really the only problem I have with this truck. We did replace the alternator in it, and there was a small coolant leak when we got it, so those are about the only repairs I've done to this truck, and a new battery after the alternator went as well. Both of those were kind of iffy. But other than that, this truck is super reliable. Now, I know probably a lot of people are going to be like, you idiot, you bought big block right when the gas prices were going up, which you don't need to tell me I'm an idiot. I know that already. I really can't afford to buy a diesel for my first tow rig. I've only put 3,000 miles on this truck, and I would imagine I'm going to be doing a considerable amount of towing with it this year, and I would think we'll be putting on a lot more miles on it this year. But I really don't do enough towing to justify pricing right now. I couldn't afford a diesel. Prices have gone up a lot since I bought this truck. They were high when I bought it back in November of 2020. They're even worse now. So I couldn't afford a diesel, the initial purchase price. I would imagine it'd be a considerable amount cheaper just in fuel mileage with a diesel, but I can't afford that initial purchase price. If it seems like it makes sense in the future, I can always sell this truck, and I can get something that's more economical. But you know, considering this truck is a 454, it's going to be pretty darn reliable. I'm not really brand loyal. I do prefer Chevrolets, but I would have bought a Dodge or a Ford. I'm not against that, but I think the gas motors are really reliable, stupid easy to work on especially compared to newer trucks, just bulletproof. So other than fuel mileage, there's really nothing wrong with them. I'm spending $7,000 on a truck. I want to be able to count on it. So I take the hit in fuel mileage, and I'd say more than likely I can count on this truck more than likely. It's got 230 horsepower, 385 pound-feet of torque, so I think it'll do pretty well towing. I've towed 10,000 pounds with it, maybe 11,000, somewhere around there, with my equipment trailer. We hauled some hay this year, and it did well with that, actually. This is the truck I've wanted ever since I was young, and 7.4 manual. It doesn't get much better than that. That's about it. I'm gonna show you guys some footage of me driving this thing. Now, this footage was back when I was still kind of learning, so it's not gonna be super smooth shifts. Just keep that in mind, but it'll give you an idea of how well this thing drives and what it sounds like and whatnot. I shifted around 2,500 RPMs, but you can shift higher than that. The red line on this is 4,000. It's pretty quiet in here. My grandmother had F250 7.3 Power Stroke when I was a kid. That was just an automatic, but that sucker was really loud. It was a Super Uni model, 99. I like those too. I've looked at a few of those. But anyways, as I was trying to get to, that 7.3 is super loud inside, and you can't really have a civilized conversation with it. But this truck, this is pretty quiet. Way more quiet than my old Detroit diesel that my grandfather gave me. I love that truck, but the radio doesn't work in it. And the reason nobody's bothered to fix it is I don't know if you could hear it anyways without damaging your ears. It's loud enough as it is. It's mainly to do with, one, the diesel, but also I think a lot of the sealing has gone bad in that truck. Seals, the wind and stuff. But this truck is super quiet. I'm very happy with it.